3 ways to stop feeling invisible with your stories. Let's be brief and we're going to go straight in. So the first thing you need to do is really discover what makes you different. Now, there's a really good exercise that I love to do with this, and that's doing what I call a timeline exercise. So you break your life into 5-year chunks. And I'm including your childhood and your school years here because that is the time when you learn the most. You could possibly get away with doing that in one big lump. But afterwards, every 5 years, obviously the more life you have, the more 5-year chunks you're going to need. So for each 5-year period, I want you to work out, I want you to write down what your situation was, the challenges you had, you overcame even, the mentors you had, the enemies as well, that's quite important, the victories, the defeats, the fears, and all the lessons you learned. Now, it's going to take a while, that is, because you obviously know all the when you started work, for example, when you left school, or the big events in your life. But what's more important is the bits that fall between the cracks. It's the little anecdotes. It's the little things that possibly made a big difference. When you've done that, work with somebody else, ideally, because you need to step back from this, and join the dots, if you like. Ideally, you do this exercise with someone to whom you are not related and with whom you are not romantically involved, because they know you too well. You need someone who can stand back and see all the things. Just for my example, I'm a copywriter now. I have been for a number of years. Before that, I was a translator because I lived in France for 20 years. So translation has an effect on all the writing that I do. Before that, I was a travel agent in the 80s. That's business travel agent. That's how I learned to build relationships with people. Before that, I've got a degree in history, so I can work out what's important, what's not important. I can see trends and things like that. If I really want to go all the way back to my childhood, my father worked for the railways in the 60s, and we went to Spain every year. And that's how the 6, 7-year-old and 8-year-old me realised that other kids spoke different languages. I thought, this is interesting. They must think in English, don't they? You don't know what you don't know. And that sparked a lifelong love of language. So that makes me who I am today. And all the things you've done in your past will make you who you are today. Now, the result of that will be not only that it'll give you a big bank of stories, it'll also poke in the eye the idea that you've done nothing special in your life. And it will also, that bank of stories will be something that no one else can replicate, because your story is the only thing you've got that no one else can take from you. The next stage, and the next thing you can do, is share transformations, because no one cares about your qualifications. It's because they're just like everybody else. You've got a degree in that, or you've got qualifications in this or that, or you've got so much experience. Who cares? Who cares, really? I want to know if you can solve my problem. So, the way the story works is that you need to point out what the problem is. My problem. I want you to be joining the conversation I'm already having in my head. So, where is the problem? Your client, your prospect, the person whose problem you are solving, is the hero. You, on the other hand, are the mentor. That's how you explain that you had their problem and you solved it through the stories that you tell, the practical examples of how you did it. Not that you've got a degree in this or that. It's how you actually did it. What changed from your perspective, because you are the solution. Then obviously, it's not enough just to tell people, oh, this is what you should do. You need to give them a call to action. You need to get them to take the uncomfortable first steps that you actually took. The last stage is to point out the transformation, because a story without a transformation is just an anecdote. You can focus on vulnerability, change, and not perfection, because no one wants perfection. If there's no transformation, there's no story. So how do you research? How do you get into people's heads? Well, you need to know what kind of things people are saying. You need to literally join their conversation. That's where research comes in. Go to where your audience is, in the YouTube comments, in the Amazon reviews, in the niche forums, in the Reddits and people like this, and you can actually lift the exact language that they use, because that's the language that they recognize. And please, 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 for the love of God, do not say you guys. I want to know you are talking to me. I want you to personalize what you say for me. What I feel is quite interesting is, and this is an interesting way of looking at it, you imagine a Venn diagram. You've got you, your stories, your background, your experience and everything on one side. You've got the person you are talking to, be that a prospect, be that a client, be that just anybody you want to persuade to do something. You have them and their problems and prospects, and their problems on the other side. The bit you talk about is the bit in the middle. That and only that, because that is what people are interested. As Donald Miller would say, if you confuse, you lose. Precision makes you visible to the right people and invisible to the wrong people. You want to put off the people that you don't want to talk to. You can't target everybody. That's a fool's game. If you target everybody, you'll attract anybody, including the tire kickers, the time wasters, and the people who want to tell you how to do your job. If this has been any help to you, I'd love you to just like and subscribe and do all the LinkedIn stuff, because I'd love to take you on this journey with me. I'm trying to build this in public because I'm just getting started again. If you want help with actually telling your story, well, I've got something for you. There's a link in the description to a workbook that I've produced called Uncover Your Story. It includes a timeline exercise and a bunch of other things. I used to sell this thing for $39, decided didn't want to sell it anymore, may as well give it all away. It's 39 pages of workbook goodness. Get down in the description, and also tell me what you think. How do you stand out in a crowded market? See you next time.